all-weather F-18 fighter bombers, highly advanced and capable of using a wide arsenal of missiles and bombs. Apache and Black Hawk helicopters that can destroy an entire tank company with a single volley, like this. The Thaid air defense system, capable of shooting down aerial targets even beyond the atmosphere. Ukraine has requested all this and more from its partners in the USA. According to Reuters, during an official visit to Washington, the Ukrainian Ministry of Defense handed over a list of everything needed to win the war, at a closed meeting, what is mentioned in the secret document, and what can Ukraine realistically receive from it. This is what we will discuss today in Arsenal. One of the most important points which has been mentioned before is, of course, the American F-18 fighters. Despite the fact that the F-18 Hornet, which translates to Hornet, was developed back in the 70s, it is still the main combat aircraft of the US Navy. It was developed as an interceptor of aerial targets, as well as a means of close air support for ground operations, and over the years of operation, it has proven itself in the best possible way.
The F-18 Hornet request is mainly for ground operations because it is a very good, it's a multi-role fighter, but it works very well on the ground, both as a bomber and as an attack aircraft. It was originally developed for these main purposes.
Initially, it was supposed to be produced in 3 modifications, but the manufacturer combined the attack and fighter modifications into one aircraft. The F-18 first took to the skies in 1978, and just 2 years later, it was adopted into service by the naval forces. Since then, more than 1,500 of these aircraft have been produced. Today, they are in service with a dozen countries. For Ukraine, the F-18 has several advantages right away. Firstly, they are much easier to use on our airfields than the F-16, which we also undoubtedly need. However, the American Hornet's air intakes are located not under the pilot's cockpit but under the wings, which eliminates the possibility of debris from the runway entering the engine. The aircraft's design is more robust, allowing us to avoid modifying the flight infrastructure specifically for them.
These are carrier-based aircraft with sturdy landing gear. They could easily operate from our airfields. That's their first advantage. The second is that they have better radars than the F-16s we are supposed to receive from allies. In other words, the aircraft can see further and their radars have better characteristics. These are radars with phased array antennas.
Another important factor is the training of personnel. In many countries, Ukrainian engineers, mechanics and pilots have been receiving instruction for months on the use of F-16s, which Ukraine will soon receive. These skills will be quite sufficient for operating the F-18s as well.
These are the aircraft that will be the easiest and quickest to get operational because after training, both the F-16 maintenance personnel and pilots, it will be relatively easier to transition, so to speak, to a machine of the same platform, the same family.
Moreover, this platform is extremely multifunctional and versatile, similar to the majority of Western technology. It is seamlessly easy to integrate the latest weapon systems and advanced technologies into it. The upgraded versions of the aircraft already have improved radars, enhanced sensors and avionics, extended flight range, and the capability to deploy a high-precision weapons arsenal. Also, we should not forget about the financial factor. And here, the F-18s are as relevant as ever. Some of the aircraft that Ukraine might receive naturally have a certain amount of flight hours. Accordingly, their lifespan has already decreased. which results in a lower price.
The low cost of this aircraft, for example, they have 30% of their lifespan left, which is why they are being sold. For example, Canada purchased these aircraft from Austria. They bought 25 aircraft for $90 million. Well, you understand, now it's like a gift. And we are even told that they might be given to us for free.
However, it's not just about the F-18s. Indeed, the Ukrainian list also includes heavy transport aircraft such as the C-17 and the C-130. There is no specific information yet on what exactly this aviation is needed for. However, considering the characteristics of the aircraft, they are quite suitable for the strategic transfer of troops and equipment, as well as military cargo, and can be used for more paratrooper deployment and evacuation of the wounded. Again, there is no specific information yet. However, such aircraft, for example, would be perfect for landing our troops in Crimea. Another surprise on the list of necessities includes Apache and Black Hawk attack helicopters. These are helicopters that essentially allow for the support of tactical and swift ground operations. These Iron Birds would be useful to the defense forces along the entire front line. Wherever they are sent, in sufficient numbers, they are capable of changing the situation in any area. With the ability to fly nearly 2,000 kilometers without refueling, the American Apaches and Black Hawks are equipped with special navigation systems for moving at night and in poor visibility at altitudes of less than 30 meters above the ground. The helicopters are armed with 30mm cannons and rocket launchers capable of destroying an entire company of tanks with a single volley.
The Apache AH-64 is an attack helicopter. It's practically, as they say, helicopter pilots talk about its helicopters, the soul of a fallen tank, meaning a flying tank that can carry up to 16 air-to-ground missiles, effectively 16 destroyed Russian tanks at once.
One of the most expensive items in the requested equipment from the USA was the latest THAAD missile defense systems. THAAD is a system designed to intercept ballistic missiles at ranges of up to 200 kilometers and at altitudes over 100. It uses the classic principle of kinetic interception, where the anti-aircraft missile simply collides with the ballistic one, ensuring its destruction. The missile designed for this missile defense system reaches speeds of over 2.5 kilometers per second, allowing it to shoot down absolutely any Russian aerial target.
We need long-range strike capabilities. Why does this request even include THAADs, which are anti-aircraft missile systems for exo-atmospheric interception? This is even cooler than the Israeli Arrow 3, which recently intercepted a ballistic missile from Yemen at an altitude of 100 kilometers, which is precisely an exo-atmospheric interception. And this is 200 kilometers in altitude for ballistic missiles only, and hundreds of kilometers of interception range horizontally. So we are requesting serious air defense systems.
In addition, the Ukrainian request naturally included F-16 fighters, Abrams tanks, 8 ACMS missiles with a range of up to 300 kilometers and more. What Ukraine will receive from this and in what time frame, we will find out very soon. After all, when summing up the year, and especially in the context of the election race, the US will definitely want to assure the world of its unwavering support for Ukraine. And there will be no avoiding specifics. Well, subscribe to our channel and like this video so you don't miss new episodes of Arsenal.